What did we want to talk about today with the operator team? I think a big part of you when you ran a print shop was always not necessarily just looking out for your station or what you're working on. It's about working together as a team and making life easier for everybody across the board. And I think that's something that you kind of wanted to talk about today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that is. I know we can go over tips and tricks, and we can talk about the minutia of the machine and cover a lot of that. But I think we kind of do that over and over throughout the year because some of the questions that are asked are so great. But I really want to talk about my experiences working with the team that's ahead of me. I think that they're an integral part of the team working together. We all know, right? We've talked about this many times. The people that are most successful with the MGI are from the top down, embracing the technology and working together to make it great. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here today.
Yeah, and look, you have somebody like Al on the call, who's the owner, who's on an operator call. So I mean, if that doesn't scream operational alignment, I don't know what does.
Exactly. You want to get started, or you want to wait a
Yeah,
little bit longer?
I think we get started, and let's get started, and everybody else
All
will
right.
catch up. Grace, welcome to the call. We're so happy to have you with us.
Well, Grace is actually that's my guy Seth. He's at Grace's computer.
Well then, Seth, nice to have you on the call with us.
Well, we, as you can see from behind me, the elves are busy at work, and then there's Al, right? Al's sitting there as Santa. He's involved too, and they're all working together to try and build the toys, get things ready. It always happens that production's often there early and after to try and make sure that the finished product looks fantastic, and that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about. Everybody's involved, and what I want to stress to operators, where this comes from in my background is often our operators had operated other machines. They were kind of stuck in production. They got handed their work. They did the best they could. They kind of were pushed by operations and production managers. Hey, stay out of sales, stay out of pre-press. They don't need your opinion. They don't want to be delayed by what it is that you have to say. It might be great information, but we don't want to confuse them. In this particular case, you might want to. With this machine, you need to be involved. Not might, you need to be involved. I want to talk a little bit about the three departments before your AccurioShine or your MGI, and that is sales, pre-press, and we'll start with those two, and then we're going to get into a little bit of estimating. So with sales, I know production people aren't used to engaging with sales, but what we've learned in some of our operator summits is that you need to constantly meet with them because this is a technology they've never dealt with. It has unique characteristics. It has complexities that they're not used to dealing with. And I think if you work closely with them, you're going to end up with files down the road that don't present such challenges technically, right? You're gonna meet with them. And I say the first thing that you should do as an operator is prepare sample folders. You need to get yourself a drawer of somebody's file cabinet. If you don't have one, you need to build files. You need to have one for postcards and packages and business cards, invitations, promo pieces, multiple past jobs. And every job you do, whether you think the customer would want you to share it or not, I want you to put 4 or 5 extras in these files, because the most successful way to arm a salesperson is to hand them something they can show a customer. Now, we often ran into, well, we're not sure that this particular customer wants to share. They might be in the same vertical, and they might not want to share designs. But what you can do is, if you've got a card or an invite, you can cut the back off and keep all the personal information separate. You can keep the front. The front is usually where the heavy duty design work is done and where it's going to talk a potential customer into wanting to participate. So build that sample file and good morning.
Hey, Karen.
Hi, good morning.
If you have a solid sample cabinet and you continually adding to it, you're going to find the salesperson coming back to really be your best friend. They're probably going to try and sneak in there when you're not there. So either hide it or lock it, because they will all disappear. I guarantee it. If you had 1,000 samples in there, instead of taking 1 of each, they would take 10 of each, because they know that's what's going to help them.
So it's funny you're saying this, because Matt also says that a lot as an operator. Oftentimes, sales will come consult with the client, with the operator, to get an understanding, of what's going to look good, what's possible on the machine, and give almost design or idea or creation input into that conversation so that the customer's getting what he's thinking he's getting.
Exactly right. And that's my last bullet point here, but let's jump to that. I think as an operator, it it is on you to tell sales, hey, I'm going to be running a job on Friday. It's cool. It's got all the things that we want to show your customer. Get them in the shop. I never had a customer that came in for a one-on-one tour and got walked through that machine and not ended up buying at least one embellishment. It was 100% successful.
Really?
The other thing that's important when it comes to the tour is you need to have a file on hand, top of the list in the MGI software. Get it up to the top, name it with an A, keep it handy. You want to have multiple samples. We had a Gila Monster for ours. It had bumps and ridges and designs and foil all over it. And what I did is I put a few of them in the feeder. I put a few of them in the delivery. I spread a few other things around on the top of the delivery. And I allowed them to ask any question they want. And if they wanted to see one run, I would have blanks already pre-printed, and I would put them through the machine, and I would allow them to see the dramatic effect of what happens from one end of the machine to the other. Because I don't know another machine that has quite the impact from feeder to delivery as JETvarnish.
Wow.
So as an operator, have that ready. Embrace the tours. Typically, I know you don't want customers in the shop, but you're already keeping the area clean. We've harped on that all year long about your maintenance, and your room is clean, so you pretty much should be ready to introduce customers to the finished product. So let's go, and I'm going to say it again, embrace it. Typically, if you're in the shop, you're running another kind of a press, the last thing you want is a press check. They're picking at you. They're wanting more magenta. They're wanting less cyan. I know that's the way it is in the print world. Even the folds, are they cracking a little bit? Can I see it off the folder? Don't stress about that stuff when it comes to the JETvarnish, because you're set up for impact. So do it. Go to the sales staff at one of their sales meetings. Sneak in and say, "Hey, this particular week, toward the end of the week, we got some cool things running. Bring your customers in. I want to invite you in."
So a quick question to like Eddie and Karen and even Al. Do you guys have operator input when you're with the client trying to get a job together, or is that where you don't get the operator directly involved in any of those conversations? What do you guys find that works on your side?
Well, we're new on the foil side, but what I'm telling Seth is, if you want to try something, experiment with something, do it. Just always be testing. And so we really haven't had clients in too much, but Seth has run a lot of different things for us, and we've got them on a conference room table, and we're bringing clients in, they're looking at that stuff and they're falling in love with it. So
Right.
we're trying everything we can think of and having a lot of fun. It's really fun doing this.
Agree. How about you guys? How's the big dog team? Do you guys have any operator input into clients, or is it something where you guys already know what to say?
The good thing is when we have clients, they actually come here, and a lot of them are already doing a lot of trade work now.
Right.
But Gran is experienced about the design and the operation of the machine. So I guess that would count as both,
Yeah.
right? And there are a lot of times when, a client would bring in a PSP, thinks he can do anything with pretty much like fine lines or things that kind of might not work well. And it does help. It does help because, what you see, it's not WYSIWYG. What you see on your screen when you're dealing with, chemistry and physics, that's what we were dealing with now. Material science, I guess, if you're doing polyester PET like we do.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that, you have to take in consideration and may or may not work. And that is a very good thing to have, someone who's experienced at the operator level to kind of understand that some things may work, some things may not, some things may work well in different colors, some things may work in different backgrounds, things like that. So it does definitely help having an operator see it. It does. We do see that it does go together. Like the operator should be involved. And we're only a small shop. We only have 20 people here, right? So it's quite, it's not so bad. The operators also kind of understand design, just like Karan, so that's not too bad. But I guess in a larger shop, you might have to kind of maybe include two people in those meetings, and I think that would be beneficial. So if a client comes in and we had literally one person that does design, the other person does the operating the machine, I would actually have them both in the meeting. That
Right.
definitely does make sense.
Yeah. Very
Yeah, I
good.
think that you're absolutely right. What you see is not what you get. And even if you bring in a customer to look at a proof that you might have, if you walk them back to the machine and they see another job run, they might find out what you're trying to teach them, right? That this particular element doesn't work, or maybe that color is not right best for this particular design. You can actually walk them back there and show them the foil, that not necessarily on a job, but get it off the shelf and show it to them. So that's extremely smart. I'm going to have to put you on the nice list. Al, you too. I mean, the fact that you're welcoming that is a big deal. I'm going to have to probably, though, I'm going to have to put Kevin on the naughty list.
Oh,
What happened, Kevin?
you got me.
Kevin!
I am going to be on the internet forever as an elf, so he's going to have to earn his way back. But no, what you say is exactly right, and that's awesome that your shop does that. Is anybody else welcoming the customers, or any other operators? Have you had the chance to impress a customer? No? Okay. Well,
Can I add to that just before we can continue?
Sure.
So lately, again, I think Kevin knows this, that we're trying to build relationships with PSP and working more of a trade relationship where they drop off their prints and we add the finishing raise UV, raise foil to it. But lately, Karan, I've been seeing you doing this. You actually ask the PSP partners to, why don't they send, first off, this is what happens. They send the designer to us. So we tell them, hey, if this is local, right? We tell them, hey, send your designer to us in person so we can actually show them the machine, what's possible, what's not, some samples, all this stuff. But then what Karan does afterwards, he does follow-up calls and he actually does a little bit of a training for each PSP designer.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
just the basics.
The virtual training. Yeah.
And Karan, do you feel that this is kind of new? Do you feel that that's kind of working, the training part of it, doing a call afterwards?
I mean, we'll see. It's too early because we just started it. But when I asked them like how did you feel about the training and stuff, and they're like, it was really helpful. Because before training, they were just thinking of like designing things as if it's like a flat foil and stuff, like, oh, this is foil, foil, foil. But then I had to go through like, the certain thickness of the raised foil that can, like make the text looks not readable and stuff. So you have these type of limitations, but if you do these type of textures and pattern, it actually makes it look so much better compared to just like if you were to design it for just the flat foil or even like a flat clear coating varnish type of thingy. So it does help. And the thing is, whatever I train them on, I also give them the sample, like a physical sample, so they can understand, and they have the files and stuff too. So I think it's helpful, at least from my experience, what they told me after the training.
yeah, that's fantastic. Let me hit a couple more items here that I think are important to cover with sales. Typically, you want to talk about design elements that you're finding very difficult, whether it's the small type, whether it's the angled key lines, whether it's the frames that don't quite look right. I think that hearing it right from the operator, go, hey, if you want your job to go smoothly, here's some things that I suggest you stay away from, because really, who's going to tell them that, right? They're going to get a design, they're going to submit it, it's going to get down into the process, and then they're going to be like, well, nobody told me that these particular elements don't look right, and I want to be successful here. We need to get this right. So as an operator, you can show them, like you can go back there and draw an angled key line on the editor, print it and foil it and show them exactly what's going to happen. If you show them that physical sample, it's going to stick in their head, and they're going to be able to, as a salesperson, look at the design in the customer's office and go, this isn't going to work. And they're going to be really impressed that the sales has that kind of training. So let's make sure we do that. Another biggie is communicate what foils you have in stock. You don't want them picking light purple that you can't get without ordering 5,000 square feet of, and committing to some design element that you absolutely can't afford, or you can't afford to keep in stock. So talk to them about what's in stock, and maybe, especially now we're getting toward the end of the year, foil shouldn't really be kept more than about 18 months. So if you're getting to the point where you have an awful lot of foil on the shelf, a rose gold that you had for 2 projects, together with the owner, maybe with the sales staff, and say, you know what, let's close the sale on that job that they wanted some foil, offer them the rose gold foil for free. It's going to go to waste anyway. And give them that opportunity. If they hear the word free or at cost, I guarantee they're going to try and push it, and that's going to help out not only your inventory, but possible success of selling the job.
Yeah, and you can probably hook that customer to do embellishments next time with foil.
Yeah,
It's really
hopefully not rose gold, because you don't like to keep that in stock. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing you can do is sit down with the sales staff and explain to them why as an operator, you're creating art at this point, right? Everybody can dream the design. You can lay any element down you want, but you're actually producing it. And there's going to be things that are difficult and things that take time. And you might have a 3 or 4 pass job and you need to allow some drying time. It's important that they understand that this isn't a job they're going to send to their Konica Minolta toner machine and they can have out the door by 4 o'clock. This is a job that even once the customer gives you an okay, you might be looking at another week down the road. Some are quick, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's that way about every job, but there's some difficult jobs that once you get your 3 passes done in 3 consecutive days or a day and a half, then you're going to push that into bindery, and bindery has some special concerns too with that job. So talk to them about why these particular products are going to take more time and that the typical turnaround does not work.
Great point. Great point.
The next department we want to move into, and we want to move into with baby steps because typically production people aren't welcome, is Prepress. So here's where it takes a little bit of skill, a little bit of empathy, and a little bit of personality, right? Because they don't really want you in their room. They're used to dealing with computers. It's not the typical team member type of relationship. It's them versus us in a lot of cases. But here's where I want you to really pay attention. You're going to find out that you can involve yourself in the creative process because you know what works and doesn't. Because you embrace the technology, it's important that you might look at the 4 or 5 operators in there. And my guess is there's one with a little bit of design training in that room that will work well with you. You can share the mutual respect for the product that's produced at the end. You can get to know this person. Yes, you could get them a Starbucks card before Christmas. Go in there, butter them up, and because if you get something you don't like in a file, or you find something that's more helpful, or hey, I didn't get my crop marks, or hey, I didn't get my targets, or I really don't like this element, we're not a flood coating machine. Can you do this? Because these are elements that help you that have nothing to do with the potential design. And if you go in there, they're going to be like, hey man, I ain't got time for that. Yeah, they probably do. And if you're nice to them, they'll probably find a way to fix it for you. So work with them your best. Share the samples with them. Go back with the job that you just printed, walk into Prepress and say, dude, you nailed it. I want you to have a few of these samples. And what you're going to find is like you see there with posters behind and a whiteboard, they'll end up hanging up the stuff that they create. That's really super cool. They love to brag about what they do as well. So it's really a team effort. And I want you to I guarantee you there's one. I had one. They were more of a designer. They more took the jobs that customers would have on the print side that didn't quite look right, or all they gave them was RGB files, or the metallics were going to look horrible with ink over the top of them because it wasn't done right. So there's people that understand process, and I think it's really important that you get to know them. And
that's interesting, Ken. I mean, you have obviously 4 decades of experience running a print shop. And, you kind of turned me on to a little bit of that dynamic between production and pre-press. Do you guys see that too, Al, Eddie, Karen, Michael? Do you guys kind of see a little bit of a friction point between the operators and the pre-press department? Michael, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, I just think that it's becoming clear to me that I need to build a better relationship there. You know a little bit about us. We don't have much of a pre-press department. It's more of me and marketing and what we can and can't do, and the frustrations between, the wild ideas that come up. And I see that relationship needs to be strengthened for sure, to put it nicely.
Interesting, for sure.
Can I actually add to that? So yeah, I think for sure whoever's doing the pre-press should actually see some version of the physical design that they worked on. And we actually learned this because Kevin, you all know this, we have an Asian Pacific office, and our Asian Pacific office, they do all of the pre-press pretty
Right.
much. And they do it, and then they send it back to our servers, and it gets automatically loaded to the machine, so the operator just runs the job. But for a while, when we had them do the pre-press, we would only really send them pictures and issues, like complaints, like, oh, this foil's not sticking right, or these lines are too thin, you gotta increase it, and things like that. And it came to a point where like the designer kept looking like, every time we just kept going back to them, it's just all mistakes. But then every time they did something really amazing and good, we didn't really show them and compliment them. So now that what we did, Command, this, now that we have this process where every single job we take a photo and a video showing the embellishment effects in the light, and we send that to the designer after they do the job. Even to the point where again, this is a separate office. They're in the Philippines, so they can't even get a physical copy. But at the very least, they get to approve their own work. So at least they can look at the job because they're not here physically, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, my intent was to get this foil. And even to us or the operator, it might look good, but it might not be the designer intent. So at least the designer has the opportunity now, even though they're in another office, not physically near the machine. Oh, wait a minute, do you mind if I change this? And then let us do a reprint and see if that works. And that we realized that really does two things. One, the designer got so enthusiastic more about their job, more excited, but they got better. They got better. They're getting better every day. They're seeing their work. They're seeing, okay, good. How can I improve? This affects good. How can I improve? And I don't think if we didn't start doing that, I don't think they'll get to the level that they're now and hopefully in the future. So it definitely does help to bring in, for sure, showing the final prints. Even if you can't, even if another office, take a video, send it to them, let them see it, let them get better at what they're doing. So I agree with Ken 100% with
Well,
that.
aggregates move way up on a nice list. I didn't even think of taking the pictures, right? I mean, what an awesome idea, right? I suppose I did that sometimes. I get the first sheet off and walk into Prepress or think about finding out whether or not they approve, right?
Yes.
You said it exactly right. Maybe an element isn't great. Maybe it's an awful color. Maybe a simple foil switch from gold to silver changes the complete design. And I mean, you're the one that did it. You're the one that was looking for the impact. I mean, operators, you heard it here first. Go and bring that first sheet to somebody and let them get a look at it, because they're going to maybe make it 100 times better. You're already proud of what you did. Let's do that. That's fantastic. What a great idea. Anybody else? Okay, then we'll move into our third department. And this was like one of my favorites, right? Estimating. I already had a pretty good idea of who my estimating people were and who was great. And I think I'm going to stress the importance of finding out who the one person that's really good at this stuff is, right? Because, Tactiful has an estimating software that can kind of make it easy. But typically, if you got 4 or 5 estimators, there's going to be one that by the time, I don't know, the first 6 months are over, it's going to be Mary that's got all the estimating jobs, and she's the one. Again, you already got your stash of Starbucks cards. Let's butter up Mary and let's get her on board with, hey, I'm bidding on a job, and if this thing comes through, we're going to need gold foil and varnish like crazy, right? You want to know that 2 weeks in advance. You want to know that 5 days in advance. That's super important. Get to know her and show her. She estimates the jobs. Estimators almost never see a finished product. Make it an effort as an operator to bring her a finished product. You know where that job is. You know what happens to it when it's done, because you're going to go steal samples. So steal one for your estimator, because she's going to be able to see what that. I had to rebid this thing like 5 times because they took off foil and they added coverage, and now they want it on a different stock, and they get abused. So let them be a part of the entire process. And if you find the right person, they're also going to help you avoid bad elements. They're going to get a PDF copy, or maybe they're going to get a color copy of a PDF on their screen. They're going to look at it and they're going to be like, oh man, Ken said that this isn't going to work at all, or this isn't a flood coater. Why are we coating the whole sheet? You can train them in the, hey, Less is more for impact situations. So it's important to bring them in. And also, sometimes the estimator is also sales, right? There's going to be some sales clients that have no time for Jack because he's a pain, and we just put him into estimating, and he's a regular customer. But if she can share with Jack the same knowledge that you're likely going to share with the sales staff, she too can be educated as to what will work and what might make Jack happy, because they're often stuck with the worst customers, right? Sales doesn't even want to go see them. They're like, just take care of them. I don't even want to talk to them. So I definitely consider that. Al, did you have something? Okay.
So, Ken, I did have a question. I mean, you brought up a good question. Let's say there's a bid going on for a job that's going to be, 30,000 sheets, back and forth, back and forth. There's a deadline to it. How does the operator and the estimator team up with the purchaser? Like, what's the optimized process for making sure that you have the right foil in stock, enough varnish in stock when it's party time? Like, did you ever find something where the operator has to actively go say, "Hey, we're running out of this," or is somebody else managing that in your experience?
I think it's up to the operator to keep in stock foils in stock and varnish in stock. I mean, there's one of the key tips for the year, right? Check your varnish, check its expiration date, make sure that you've got enough on hand. And if you get a big order of varnish and you're not happy with the expiration date, it's not going to last you 4 months, now's the time to call the supplier and say, hey, man, I got to turn these 2 bottles down. There's no way I can keep them on the shelf. So there's the tip of the year. But typically the operator is stuck in back. They have no communication with the people before them, and they find out when the job arrives and they need 5 days or 4 days to get foil in stock that they don't have the foil. So I really don't think it's anybody's intention on the sales, marketing, and pre-press side. It's not their job to make sure that the offset presses have ink. It's
Right.
not their job to make sure that all the consumables for the indigos have what they need on hand. That's up to the operator. So if you have to now involve yourself, you never did before, right? There was just enough. There were so few things you had to keep on hand, and now the game has changed. You are part of the team, the entire team from start to finish. So involve yourself. Yeah, Al.
I've got a question. Once again, we're new in the foil business here, but typically, if I have to get foil, can I get it overnight? Can I have it FedExed in if I have to, or what's the typical turnaround when I'm trying to either order foil or if we're need more of the varnish? Because we haven't gotten into the really big jobs yet because our old MGI was a smaller sheet size, so it really wasn't something we could do a lot of. But now we're in a position to be able to do much bigger work, and I really hadn't thought too much about the logistics of foil and varnish.
Well, I'm going to tell you how it was for me, and I'm going to tell you what you can do. I guess we can slide this into the tip of the year. Here's the tip, right? Order samples from every manufacturer that makes foil for your MGI. Order a small roll of an obscure color, a holographic print. Order golds. Just say you want to check your adhesion and see how long that sample takes to get to you, because they'll often tell you they need 5 days. But because they want your work, when you see a sample of gold show up at your door the next day in 2 days, you now know how long it takes each supplier to get you that foil. So do that for one. For two, I had the luxury of being 2 hours away from Phoenix. We had a branch of Liberty Foils in Phoenix, and usually there's a branch of another. If you're in any big city, somewhere close by, there's probably a smaller local company that supplies foil, and they may even do business with the bigger companies, and they keep a stash. So for me, I always knew Liberty was my ace in the hole. I could get gold or silver quickly. I could actually get it overnight, UPS, without even paying next day freight, because UPS from Phoenix to Tucson was closed. So think about that. But again, order the sample, find out how long that takes. If you need 4, 5, 6,000 foot of foil, it could take 4 to 5 days on average. And if you have to order it from Crown back east, because the West Coast doesn't have it, they may have to print it, they may have to cut it, they may have to box it, and you could be looking at full freight. And foil is heavy. If they put 4 25-inch rolls in a box like they typically do, you're talking about a couple $100 in freight, even to expedite it to 2 day. So be careful on that. And I also strongly urge you to cut your own foil. Foil is done in 25.5-inch rolls typically. And what I did is I bought an inexpensive foil cutter and I would cut them in half. Right? For your bigger machine, Al, you're going to be able to keep them the full size. But for your 3DS,
but not necessarily, Ken. Like I was talking to Jana, Al, about this. Like some jobs, if you only have a little bit of foil, you're going to want to cut that roll down and have that foil just hit so that you're not wasting the whole width. So I definitely think, and it's like, how much is a foil cutter? $1,000, $1,500?
I mean, I got one from a shop that closed. It was just a literal pizza cutter type cutter, but it's like a lathe with a pizza cutter. But yeah, I think you can get them for less than $2,000, and that'll pay for itself in big time, especially if you're only going to run 2 or 3 inches of foil on one side of a sheet. So a foil cutter is crucial. And if you have a foil cutter, or if you don't know this and you're going to get a foil cutter, ask them to not wind it so tight. Ask them for a medium wind. They'll all know what that is, and they'll wind it a lot more loosely. And when you go to cut that foil, you won't overheat it trying to get through. If they wind it tight like a brick, you're going to drop the cutting blade into it, and it's going to heat up, and then you're going to end up with a half melted side and a factory side, and they're going to pull different. You're going to end up with wrinkles. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. So,
what a tip, man!
Oh, you said you wanted the good ones for the end of the year, so here you go.
So to follow up,
I want to be on the nice list, not Kevin's naughty list. This is a warning. Oh, and then the Green Bay Packers are also on the naughty list.
As a Bears fan, I can imagine that.
I'm tight with the big guy.
There's a couple.
You have to make sure the right people get taken care of. I'm sorry. Eddie, out there, any more questions?
Eddie, you seem to want to talk a little bit about this subject.
Yeah, first, we bought a foil cutter off of Alibaba for like under $1,000. It works, but I think the key thing, and Ken, we fused the roll so many times, cutting it, overheating it, and it could be rounded tightly. But one thing that really was a game changer was I found this blade, this really special blade that is I forgot what it is, but I can send a link to some people if they're interested. But it really prevents overheating, and it's non-stick, so it doesn't have as much friction. So that when I just changed that blade from even the OEM blade from that machine, it was like cutting butter, man. Like it was just.
Really?
But the previous same roll, I was using the blade, and because the other blades that are supposed to be really expensive, and by the time you got half the roll, it started fusing. And then when I took it off, like that whole one side is just solidified. So,
and what the medium wind does is it actually allows air inside, right? Because it's like imagine a loose paper towel roll, right? As you're cutting, there's a place for the heat to escape, and that medium wind is crucial. And also hitting it with the blade, backing it off, hitting with the blade. Anything you can do to reduce heat. It's the heat. It's melting the transfer layer. Is all it's doing. It's not hurting the foil. But and honestly, you want to change those blades often, because when you're cutting metal with any kind of a blade, even if it's carbide tipped, you're going to end up killing it really quickly.
Wow. Well, Ken, I've been doing this for 20 years. I didn't even know it was a thing. Go ahead, Ken, Al.
We'd love to know exactly what machine you have and what blade you have. So if you can pass that on to
if you guys want to, the JETfornish website is where I suggest you post that. It'll get the most eyes. It's a great site, and operators go there all the time to ask questions and try and figure out issues. So that would be really helpful advice for you to put on the JETfornish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will put that unless
shoot
you want to message me on LinkedIn or something too. Okay, I'll shoot it to Kevin.
I'll take care of that for you.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know that was a thing, man. I didn't know that you can get a medium wine, Ken. That's a new one for me. I gotta say, I'm always learning. That's great.
The other thing too we tried, like because it was tightly round, is you flip the roll so that it's actually winding the other way. So as the blade cuts, it would actually open up the gap of the roll too. We tried that way, but you kind of have to be careful because it can unravel differently. But that's another option, like just flipping the roll, letting it rotate the other way and cutting it that way, so that when it cuts, it kind of opens up gaps, air gaps in there too. So,
any more questions before I kind of wrap it up?
I just had one little comment, Al. Your machine on the big one that you have, you could put multiple rolls of like 3-inch wide foils. On Michael, Bethany, and I believe Edgar. I don't know on the 3DS. Can you put multiple roles or just one?
We can put 2 or 3 roles. Multiple roles. We've done it. Yeah.
Okay, but the AccurioShine 3600, you can only put one roll, so just be aware of that. So what we're saying about the multiple roles, Michael and Bethany, may not necessarily apply to your machine. So just want to make sure you guys know. Okay.
What I tried to stress here today is typical to Santa and his elves. They all work together all year long to make sure we take care of the people on the nice list. And I think it's important that you engage yourself. They'll keep you from getting pinned down with horrible elements or things that are a pain. And it's so fun to create with this machine that the last thing I want you to do is struggle. So I want you to realize that it's within your power and your grasp to work with the team a little bit differently than you have in the past. And you might find pressmen coming to you saying, "Hey, will you go ask Prepress? Because I'm scared to go in there." So don't let them talk you into that. Let them work on it on their own. But it really can be fun. I want it to be fun, and I know you all want to be a success. This is an expensive technology, and we want to be creating the best stuff possible. And I think all these tips should definitely help the process go smoother and leaner too, right? There's nothing more non-lean than having to go back and redesign because something was wrong. So embrace those tours, guys. That's the biggie. They're so successful. Bring your customers into your shop. If you can get them in, you're going to kill them. They're going to touch that stuff. You can't do that with a proof. We even have proofing software that allow you to rock a three-dimensional image back and forth and see elements. But when you see them touch, I would give people that Gila monster, and they would like touch it and touch it and touch it. And before they go, I'd thank them for coming and say, "Do you realize you were just intimate with a printed piece for over 20 minutes?" Yeah. They don't even realize they're doing it, and that again is a slam dunk to being successful. So I appreciate you all being here today. I hope you all have a great holiday. And I think I'm going to be done with this. That's
it.
Regular Ken now.
Wait till you see what I got cooking for you next week, buddy, or next month. But yes, thank you, Ken, for an amazing session. Thank you, all of you, for joining the Operator Meetup. I know that we threw a lot at you today. We are going to go ahead and transcribe everything and write an article so that everything that we did talk about is going to be nicely summarized for you, and you should be getting that by the end of the day today. So big thank you for all you guys for joining. Big thank you to you, Ken, and big thanks to all of you for bebeing a part of the Jet Force. We appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.